with the Bruce Pappas. So today I'm going to talk to you about with the Bruce. If you are someone trying to getting into La Pavoni, okay, as your first coffee machine, and let's talk about the pros and cons with Bruce this morning, and also we are going to pull the shot, and we have a different machine, same but different. Bruce, you have. Tell us about your machine right now.
It's a 2004, I believe, 2004,
Okay.
2005 Gen 3 Pro.
Okay.
So the big difference is that it has this bell is larger
Hmm.
than the Gen 2s and Gen 2s, and it has a sleeve inside here.
Okay.
So that's really and then also yours has a pressure stat also, I believe. No, yours is a 2-button.
No, mine is a pressure stat as well.
Okay, yours is pressure stat as well. So about the middle of the Gen 2s, they switched over to a pressure stat.
So, Bruce, you have the post mill, which means after 2000.
I do.
Okay, mine is a pre 2000, so mine is built in 90s.
Right.
And main difference between mine and Bruce is the size, also a size of the basket as well. Mine is 51 millimeter. Bruce, yours is what? 49 is mine. Yours is 51, correct?
Mine's 51. Yours is 49.
51. Can you tell us how long you've been using it?
I retired in 2014. I bought the machine probably 2014, 2015. So
okay.
9, 10 years.
So I know you've been using it for a while. And also, by the way, if you don't know Bruce has a YouTube channel as well. And Bruce does all the La Pavoni repair videos. And if you're into La Pavoni, most likely you've been to Bruce's one of his video for sure. Okay, for sure. And can you tell me about if someone wants to getting into La Pavoni? I mean, what can you tell these people?
I'm cheap, but I like to buy nice stuff. So it's kind of a contradiction, but I think a lot of coffee people like that. We don't like to spend money needlessly. So I started out with AeroPress. I had DeLonghi, a little cheap DeLonghi. And then I was looking to buy an espresso machine. So I was looking at a decent when they were like a $1,200, $1,000, $1,200. That was way back when. And I was looking at La Pavonis. I stumbled upon this one on eBay for $250, $300. And so, it was quite a bit cheaper and everything. So I said, well, let's try it out. So that's why I bought it. And I had to do a lot of work on it when I first got it just to make it functional. So, and now I kind of decked it out a little bit.
So do you recommend people getting into coffee as your, let's say, first machine? I know looks really nice, right? Mine looks amazing. But
a lot of them sit on shelves after they get bought. Which is if you're a masochist, I would buy. It takes there's a learning curve, a fairly high learning curve. You can't pull a shot. I'm dubious that people say, "Well, I pulled my first shot; it was wonderful." Well, I'd like to taste that coffee.
Exactly, correct.
Or maybe I wouldn't want to taste that coffee. Yeah. So the learning curve is really, really high. I think it's probably 2 or 3 months before you start getting decent shots. Well, what's fun about these machines is all of the variables are right here. The only thing you really can't control is the temperature on the group head and the boiler water temperature.
Yes.
And you can play with those too. But those are the two things that are really pretty much set. But everything else, pressure, grind, amp, water all those things they're all right here.
By the way, what kind of water are you using right now on your machine, your boiler?
Well, I started out using reverse osmosis, but it wasn't good. It's because it eats away the metal. And so then I got I put a remineralization cartridge on my reverse osmosis. So it's really clean water. I haven't checked it out. I do have some tests that I want to run on my water, but the water is so much better than what it used to be. When I wasn't running reverse osmosis, I was buying smart water, some
Yep.
different waters
Correct.
way back when I started because I knew the reverse osmosis wasn't working. So.
Okay, so again, so if you are joining us, we are talking to Bruce Pappas on his YouTube. Also, Bruce will also have a YouTube channel as well. And again, I'm using the pre-meal, and Bruce is using the post-meal, which means after 2000. Mine is before 2000. So the biggest difference between my machine and Bruce is a lot, but mostly 51 millimeter basket versus 49. I can only do about 13 gram at a time. How about you, Bruce?
Well, I have 3 different size baskets,
Okay.
so I can get up to in a 20 gram basket. I like to use around 16. So, but the smaller, the 16, I'd use anywhere between 12 and 14.
Can you get a large size, less than a 1 to 3? Is your group chamber can handle that kind of size of the coffee?
Exactly. The group chambers, the brew chambers defines really how big a shot you can get out because once you start pulling, you don't put any more water in unless you do a Fellini.
Exactly, Flini. Oh, by the way, so can you explain? People they don't know what is Flini.
Well, it started. A Fellini basically is 2 pulls.
Yep.
I mean, and 2 complete pulls. I do what I call a mini Fellini,
Hmm.
which is I'll push it down until I get pressure on the water and
Yep.
on the puck, and the water gets saturated, and then I'll lift it back up until I fill the chamber again, and then I pull again. So I can get a little bit more. I get 32 out of it easily on a 16. I'll pull 1 to 2.
Okay. So I tell you what. So let's put some shot together. Okay. Which grinder are you gonna use this morning, Bruce? I'm gonna be
Uh,
using the niche grinder. How about you?
yeah, we're going to do the same one.
Okay.
So over here is kind of my coffee setup. I have a Spas Luca, and I have a niche zero and a niche jewel, then
Okay.
some pour over stuff. So
So I'm gonna put my shot, and then we're gonna have a Bruce put his shot as well. So I'm
you
gonna
want
be
to do the
using
same
my.
time?
Yeah,
You want to
sure.
do the same
Yeah,
time?
that's fine. Yeah.
What do you want to use for? What are you going to use for beans?
I'm using the Neapolitan from Good Brothers Coffee this morning.
Okay, I got the same thing right here.
Good.
So I love these. Have you played with these at all, Hoon?
What is
These
it?
these are from Weber Workshops. They're tubes. They're storage tubes
You know what? I don't have a Weber, but I do have one from Passato.
from South.
Yeah, hold on.
So these are frozen,
Yep.
and I label them. I put a little rubber band on it and cut a label off so I understand what I've got in it. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm using this one. This is a magnetic. You can attach to
Oh,
any like metal surface place.
that's nice.
So it's pretty cool. But
Yeah. Yeah, these are basically a plastic that is food grade, food safe, and so I put them in the freezer.
oh wow, that's a great idea, by the way.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
All right.
I didn't pre-measure. I'm sorry. I got here a little bit late. We had mix up on time. So
But and no worries. By the way, so playing with the laptop is all about management of your heat management. So
right.
right now, the screen say I'm at like 70 degree. I need to add about 10 or 15 degree top of that for the water temperature. So
Yeah.
make sure you
80,
gotta yeah you
82,
gotta
84
yep.
is a good range to pull it at. So the big difference also on these machines is that you inject water directly from the boiler into the brew chamber.
Okay.
Whereas with the sleeve here, we have water that circulates around the outside of the sleeve and has a tendency to cool down a little bit more so than the direct water from the boiler.
Do you use paper on the top?
I don't. I
Okay.
use. I'm going to use a puck screen.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, yeah. You got a puck screen. Yeah. I don't have a puck screen, so I'm using just the paper on the top.
Yeah, that works just as well.
I mean, if you guys are watching right now, the reason why I'm using paper, let me show you why. Okay, this is a pretty. Make sure looking at the look at my Lapaboni group head there. I'm gonna pull a little bit. See the how much water comes out. You see that? They're extremely violent. Okay, they're really violent water. So
Yeah, mine is not as much because
okay.
it inserts it inside the screen. I mean, inside behind the sleeve. It smells good.
Again, I'm doing about 13 grams, so 1 to 2 ratio, about 26 gram out. I'm trying to go about 26. Again, I just put the paper right on the top.
So you're doing Lance's shake and bake?
Say that again?
Did you do Lance's shake in the cup?
Nah.
You didn't like that one?
I mean, not with this one. Okay, not with the Lapaboni.
So these are cool. This is from what's the name of the company?
That's the shoulder? No, that's the minimal, right? Sub minimal.
Yeah, it's from Minimal.
Yeah.
It's really cool. So they're retractable. Turn it over.
I'm just gonna lock it in here.
You're ahead of me.
I'm gonna go 1 to 2. Maybe like 1 to 2. I'm at about 90, just under 90 Celsius right now. Especially we are doing the darker roast. I'm okay with it.
Are you that high? You already at 90?
Yeah.
Yeah, mine's at 82.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna go pull the shot here. I'm just gonna lift all the way up. I'm doing that like pre-infusion in a way.
Yep. Let's see. Let's heat up.
And then, and I'm gonna see some drops. I don't see the drops yet. Okay.
Sorry
Which
about that.
means my grinder might be too fine as well. I'm just gonna slowly just give it a little squeeze. Just a little squeeze. And then whenever I see the drop, I'm gonna do this called mini fleening. I'm just going all the way up. I'm going to refill the water in the chamber. And I'm just going to start squeezing.
Yeah, you're ahead of me.
Yep, there we go.
Usually I like to pull up before I put my puck in.
Mm-hmm.
That didn't work. He's made a mess.
Okay, about 22 gram at 13 gram going in. So just under 1 to 2. So has a beautiful crema as well. And I usually shut it down, shut the machine down shortly after. Shortly after. Man, smells pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm ground a little too coarse.
Too coarse?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, my
okay. I mean, if you're thinking about getting Lapaboni, some of you out there, I mean, this is a good video to watch. But shout out to Jackie. Yeah. Here we go. Cheers, Bruce.
Cheers.
So you got Lapaboni. So you got the Neapolitan, right?
I did the same one.
Yep, same one.
Yeah, mine's a little over extracted.
Mine is really, dark chocolate. Yeah, dark chocolate. I bet you it's really good with little cortado.
Yep.
Add some little bit of milk in it. It'd be fantastic for sure.
Are you going to steam anything?
So speaking of it, comes to milk-based drink for Lapaboni. You know what? Hold on. Let me show you guys. Okay, let me show you guys. I'm gonna turn back on the machine here. I'm not gonna steam it, but let me show you the steaming power. Okay, the steaming powers are pretty impressive. I don't know about you. The post meal, but with the pre meal on steaming is quite nice. Okay.
Well, I've got a little bit of an edge on you for steaming.
Okay.
I did a steam override, so I've
Uh-huh.
got called super steam, so it overrides the pressure stat. So
Oh, nice.
mine will get up to 1.5, 2 or to 2 bars.
Wow. Yeah, because mine set up at like zero point 0.8.
Yeah, that's where
Okay.
you're set up. That's one of the downfalls of a pressure stat. You can't. Some people are putting in double pressure stats, and there's
Yeah.
actually now a pressure stat out that has two settings on it that you can actually use, which I think is a cool idea. I do have a thermal cutout so that if it gets too hot, it will cut it out. But it never. It's going to start screaming like a Gen 2 and a Gen 1 here in a second.
Uh-huh.
So I made a big mess. I tried to do something and I shouldn't have done it, which is typically what you do with these machines. You end up screwing up as much as probably you get a good shot, at least in the beginning.
And so, Bruce, when's the last time you poured a great shot from La Pavoni? I'm talking about great shot that is a memorable shot.
So do you see this thing? Look at it.
Yep. Yep.
I'm up. I'm sorry. I'm not avoiding your question. I'm up to about 1.8 bars right now.
And Bruce, can you show us the steaming power on that?
Yeah. Let's see. If I can.
Yeah, Bruce
Get
is
a nice
about to
second.
show us the steaming power of La Pavoni.
So
Wow. I mean, that is something else, isn't it?
yeah, I put this B plus joystick on my. I removed the knob and I put this joystick for my team.
Oh, okay. So it's not a knob. Just it's a joystick
Now,
instead.
let me show you. Let me pull around here.
Yeah.
So it's a joystick, and it comes off of a Bereza.
Yeah.
So if you pull up, it locks, and if you push down, it's just a momentary.
Oh, I like it.
It's really nice.
Oh
Yeah, I
man.
tried to do everything to this machine that I thought would. Let's say right now the thermal coupling
Hmm.
has. I've got a thermal override underneath. It's actually turned off. It's it has to be reset before I can
Okay.
actually use the machine again. So I'm probably going to put in a double that thermostat or the pressure stat that has two limits on it. So you can set a higher limit and a lower limit. There's the bandwidth is just it's a defined bandwidth, but you can move it up or down. So I thought I'd try that next.
And Bruce, okay. So how much maintenance required if someone wants to getting into La Pavoni?
Well, once you get it set up, probably once a year.
Okay.
Some people do, lubricate the rings on the
That's
piston
right. Yeah.
more often. But I think if you use a good one, you depends on how much you use it, also obviously, but once a year
Yeah.
at least. And you don't have to change the O-rings and pistons and everything, at once a year. That's probably a 5-year, 10-year deal. Depends upon what kind of quality rings you and everything you get.
Okay. By the way, do not remove your portafilter right away. Okay. You're gonna have a surprise. So just make sure
Let's see,
you
but
do it extremely slowly
yeah.
because all the pressure built up. So yeah, you gotta be really careful.
So my indicator lights here. I've got some interesting indicator lights. I don't know if you can see these or not. So this is the one that. Can you come in? You can't come
There we
in
go.
on
Yeah,
this.
you can zoom it.
Yeah, zoom it. Let's see. Where am I getting down to here? There we go. There's the lights. Let's zoom out just a little bit.
What kind of light is that, Bruce?
I put these indicator lights on these idiot lights.
Yeah.
So this light shows I've got power to the
Okay.
unit. And then this is switch 1, switch 2. So if I switch back and forth, I've got a one. Mostly Gen 3s don't have
Yep.
2 switches. So that's on the second switch. That's the steam override, the super steam. And then
Oh.
this one indicates that the pressure stat is on. And this one indicates if I have tripped the steam override, if it's hit the upper limit, so that it protects my machine so I don't damage anything. And the last light over here is when the heating element is on. So
Hey,
switch 1 will be on the top and switch 2 will be on the bottom.
there's something. Did you modify on the body itself, or that's?
Oh yeah, I drilled it.
Oh,
I
you
drilled them.
drilled it.
I drilled them, and these lights. I bought these little assemblies to house the LEDs, but the LEDs are basically used on sailboats,
Wow.
on boats. Therefore, the panels, and so they're really nice LEDs. I tried experimenting with my own to try to make them, work and everything. I kept blowing them, so I finally bought these high quality ones. But you can see right now, if I turn this on the lower part, this limit has tripped. So I can't do anything right now with the machine until that resets itself. So that's only happened to me 2 or 3 times.
Okay.
But like I said, if I put that double pressure stat on it, I'll have it indicate when it's when the higher limit's on and the lower limit's on the pressure stat. So that's the only thing I have to change really. But yeah, they're fun. They're
By
fun
the
to
way,
play with.
your Lapabonis are very well upgraded. Where are you buying your parts from?
I buy them from Tudor Coffee Sensor,
Okay.
and I also buy out of Romania,
Yep.
and then also I buy them from Stefano out of Oregon.
That's right. Yeah, that's Stephanie's in the U.S. as well. You know what? Speaking of, I'm gonna put their link down below when I'm done with it too. Yeah, Tudor Copy Sensor does. He's the only vendor does that specialize in Lapaboni.
Well, he's the only one here. I'll come back up here.
Okay.
He's the only one that has an extensive, you can buy, parts from, La Pavoni or some of the other distributors, but Tudor has really been playing with this for years. Mm-hmm. So he totally builds it up. He does it for other machines. He started with E61s. The shipping is the thing that kind of kills you anymore. It's like $24 for an order, 26. So you need to order a substantial amount to be able to justify
make it worthwhile.
The prices are quite a bit lower though, so you can. It's good to try to compare.
Mm-hmm. Man, but again, I mean, yours is well upgrade. I mean, mine is pretty good too so far. Okay, mine, I got parts from Tudor as well, but I got the heat sink. I have the thermo reading as well. I got the pressure. I got the pressure, and also I have I think it's called Airbuster, right? I have an Airbuster.
I have an Airbuster. I have not installed it yet. I want to try that out yet. What's your temperature of your machine right now?
Right now, okay, machine's been off for last 5 minutes, right?
Okay.
The reading at 83 Celsius.
Good. Yeah, that's good.
Hot.
You're ready. Yeah, but you're ready to pull another shot.
I mean, this thing. No, I think it's too hot for that right now, which means the water coming down is extremely hot. Goodness. So I mean, even with the heat sink on it, man. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what mine's at right now? Because I did that super steam. Mine's at was at 94 just a second ago.
Wow. I mean, which means think about the water temps coming out though.
Yeah.
There's well over 100 Celsius.
Exactly.
So if you're using the dark roast, okay, if you're using the dark roast over 100 Celsius, I mean, it's going to taste bitter. It's going to be way over extracted. So
here's what mine looks like. Mine's been off now for a while too.
Mm-hmm.
And actually that override on the heat it has kicked back on now. So here's what I get. Well, I don't have any pressure right now. I'm at 0.8.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't really show you. I thought I'd show you, but yeah, mine's not that big.
Yeah, because mine has no pressure inside the water chamber, no, but the temperature drops very slowly. Okay, so that's the problem with the Lapaboni.
Yeah, and a
I,
lot of people, they'll take a washcloth,
mm-hmm.
a cool washcloth, and hang it over the group head, the back of the group head. Because I just touched this, you saw me jump. To cool it. The other thing that my friend Steve does, Steve Ornish out in
Okay,
California, you could take just a cup of water or a ramekin, anything,
okay.
of cold water, and then he pulls it up under like this, and then lifts the
Ah,
lever to pull water back up, and it will just really, it's pulling cold water back right up inside right now inside the group head. And don't go too high, or else you just start putting more hot water
that's
back in.
right.
So,
I mean,
so
there's
you
a
could,
lot of techniques
there are a
involved.
lot of techniques
Yeah.
to
Hey,
try to
did
pull them
you do you have any video on Lapaboni techniques on your channel?
down. Excuse me. I do. I have one of me pulling a shot years ago
Okay.
that I still use. I still use the same technique pretty much.
Yeah.
So that's there. It's like I think it's like 5 minutes long. I don't
Okay.
know because I take my time and explain things as I go.
But again, I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna put the link for Bruce's YouTube channel as well. So I know you have a lot of repair videos on your channel, right? Tear
Right.
down. Yeah.
Just to let you know, I've got two machines downstairs that I'm doing right now. One's a
Okay.
Gen 1 and one's a Gen 2. And both of them, the Gen 2 I brought back from the ashes is
Okay.
for a woman whose father bought the machine in Italy when he was in the service. And he brought it back here and he changed it to 110 before he bought a
Mhm.
110. But the base is all rusted. I couldn't get the a flange off the boiler ring. So I'm going to start posting those. I'm going to have a daily thing or every other day or something about the progress of this machine, and I'm moving along pretty well. And
Sounds good.
the Gen 1 was a friend of mine who fried his element. So we got it from Gabor in Hungary.
Yep.
They're a guy who makes the elements still. And they're pricey, but he wanted to keep the machine as original as he could. And so he ordered one of those, and so I have that, and I'm up videos on that too. So,
Man, again, but again, if you are thinking about getting Lapavoni, as second coffee machine, this is fantastic. Okay, as second coffee machine, but as first machine, I mean, you have to do some real soul searching before
well,
before.
a flare is a little bit the same way. It gets you really there. It just doesn't have a boiler, but you still
Yep.
have to. It has a preheating, but
You
you
know
still
what,
have to
Flare 50,
understand
and
things.
I have to say, for the price, Flare 58 give you all the modern, the comfort, right?
Right, right.
Has heating elements on the group head. Instead of using boiler, you're gonna use your kettle, so you don't have to worry about that. And I mean, it gets hot enough, so you can do medium, light, or dark roast, whatever you want. So I mean, if you are really, really into espresso, just espresso only, a flare might be the best bet for you guys. But with the Lapaboni, I mean, you can do both, okay? Especially milk as well.
Right.
Especially milk based. This is fantastic. But again, this is more like novelty. More like novelty. Don't you think? Is that more like novelty, or is that really practical at home? What do you think?
Well, I've taken this to parties.
Oh,
Taken my niche zero and this to a party and pulled back-to-back shots. I've used a ramekin to cool it if I really needed to, and I had people just raving. So I must have pulled 10, 12 shots, if not more, that one night. Had to refill the boiler
yep.
in the middle of it.
How do
So
you refill the water during the session?
well, if you've got, if obviously the machine should be off a little bit,
Yep.
but the big thing I do is, turn it off and then let out the pressure out through the steam valve.
Yep. Got it.
So I let off all the pressure and then I can
Sure.
open it up. I don't let it go down below the element. So,
Yep.
halfway down the sight glass here, don't try to get too low.
Yep.
And don't pour in water or cold water, because that can actually get down into the element and can break the element too. So, you know, you make sure it's at least room temperature, if not higher.
No cold water.
No cold water. I wouldn't use cold
Yep.
water. The other thing you asked about was how can you do light roast on these machines? You know, which is always a big question of people. A lot of everybody says they work really great with medium roast and dark roast. Well, I have a friend in Verona, old school, who has been for years pulling light roast. And what he does is he gets the brew chamber up in temperature. So it's instead of starting at 82, 84, you raise at least 4 degrees up to maybe even 6 degrees. So when you're finally pulling, you're pulling at 96, 97. And he says he gets really great results for light roast.
But the problem is you cannot go back to. I bet you can do back to back.
Yeah, probably not unless you do the ramekin or the cloth or whatever. You know, this is the beast. You know, the group head is the beast of this machine. And people say, you know, you got to kind of team it. You never control it. And people say temperature control. No, you temperature manage maybe.
Yeah.
But you know, but you can't. That's the big thing. Is your brew temperature. That's the hardest thing on this meat. These machines.
I mean, once you got that figured out, somebody if you can figure out the brew temperature, you are golden. Okay, I think you're gonna be set. But I mean, that's why, you know, like Bruce said earlier, it takes months to get used to this machine. You know, it's not like any other coffee machine. But again, it is really nice, really cool. Okay, a lot of cool factors. You can add all kinds of, you know, gears on the top of it. A lot of upgrades as well, and you can get that one from very inexpensive or used. Okay, and then you can start adding on your parts later on. But yeah, I mean, it comes to the entry level machine, not the brand new one though. Brand new ones are like $1,500, right, Bruce?
Right.
12 to 15. But if you can find yourself a used one, 300.
Yeah, they're actually gone up in price these days. They're more like 400 or 500 just for a Gen 2.
He's gone up now.
Since Hoffman did his reviews, they've been slowly climbing, and they're, you know, limited number of the older used machines. So.
Oh, that's true. Yep, that is true. But again, I mean, if you can find one, you're gonna have a really, really good time with it. Hey, anyway, hey Bruce, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Okay. Yeah, see you in Chicago. See you in Chicago.
I'm gonna see you in about a couple of weeks. Okay, I'm gonna see you in 2 weeks. All right, Bruce.
Thank you.
Talk to you later. Okay, guys. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm gonna put the link for Bruce's website, his YouTube channel, and also Coffee Sensor as well. All right, see you guys next time.